The great hall of the Galactic Council was filled with beings from many worlds. Bright lights reflected off polished floors. Tall pillars reached up to a ceiling that seemed to hold the stars themselves. The council chamber was quiet except for the soft murmur of voices. Zalari stood near the front. She was an ambassador from the Arathis, a proud alien race known for their beauty and sharp minds. Their skin shimmered faintly like silver glass. Their faces were perfectly balanced, with smooth lines and clear eyes. Zalari's eyes were sharp and cold. She looked over the other delegates, but focused mostly on the group from Earth. Humans sat quietly on their side. They looked very different from the Arathis and others. Their skin had many shades and tones. Their bodies were not as slender or tall as the others. Their faces were uneven. To Zalari, humans seemed rough and ugly. She could not hide her dislike. When the leader of the Galactic Council called the meeting to order, Zalari was the first to speak. "These humans," she said, her voice clear and strong, "are primitive. Their technology is slow and their culture is crude. They are an embarrassment to this council." Her words echoed through the room. Some aliens nodded in agreement. Others looked at her with surprise. The humans themselves did not respond. Their faces were calm but serious. Zalari felt a rush of anger inside her. She hated how humans looked and behaved. To her, they were weak and unworthy. She had a mission. The council wanted her to study Earth closely and report if they should be allowed to join the Galactic Trade Alliance. Zalari did not want to go. She thought Earth was a waste of time. But orders were orders. Later, she prepared to leave. Her ship was sleek and fast. It carried her across the stars to the blue planet called Earth. She landed in a large city filled with noise, cars, and people rushing everywhere. To Zalari, the place was dirty and chaotic. The buildings were small compared to her homeworld. The air smelled strange. A mix of machines and plants. Her first steps on Earth made her skin crawl. The people looked at her with surprise. Many stopped to stare at the strange silver figure with glowing eyes. Zalari felt proud but also bitter. How could these humans ever be equal to her people? She was taken to a special building where she would live during her mission. The place was small but clean. Cameras and sensors watched everything. Zalari thought it was a prison, but it was meant to keep her safe and controlled. Her first meeting on Earth was with a human man named Cole. He was tall and strong, but had rough hands and a worn face. His skin was tan from working outside. His eyes were kind but tired. Zalari studied him carefully and felt disgust inside. "He is so ugly," she thought. Cole smiled politely. "Welcome," he said softly. "I hope we can work together." Zalari said nothing. She looked away. Cole did not give up. He talked about his life, about the times he helped people after fires, floods, and accidents. He told stories of saving children and neighbors. Zalari listened but kept her face cold. She did not want to believe such a rough human could be. A hero. Days passed. Zalari watched Cole quietly. She saw how he treated others with respect and care. He helped a small injured bird and even shared his food with a stray dog. These acts were strange to Zalari. On her planet, no one cared for animals or weak beings. One evening, the lights in their building went out. The power had failed. Zalari panicked and felt trapped in the dark. Cole calmly took her hand. "Don't worry," he said. "I will take care of you." He guided her through the dark hallways by touch and voice. Zalari's heart raced. She realized this human was not as ugly as she thought. His hands were strong but gentle. His voice was steady and warm. When they reached safety, they sat together in silence. For the first time, Zalari looked closely at Cole's face. It was full of lines and scars, but it was honest and real. She felt a strange warmth inside her chest. Zalari's hatred began to fade. She realized her old beliefs were wrong. Humans were not perfect like the Arathis, but they had something else: courage, kindness, and strength of heart. She felt confused but also curious. That night, Zalari wondered what her report to the Galactic Council would say. Could she lie and say humans were ugly and weak? Or should she tell the truth and admit that she had learned to respect a human man? Zelari knew her choice would change everything for her, for Earth, and for the future of both their worlds. Zelari woke early. The next morning, the strange feelings from last night stayed with her. She had never felt this way before about a human or anyone. Her mind was busy with questions. Could humans really be different than she thought? Could they be more than just ugly? Her orders from the Galactic Council were clear. She was to learn everything she could about humans, especially this man. Named Cole, he was her key to understanding Earth, but she did not want to admit it. She was curious about him. Cole arrived soon after sunrise. He greeted her with a warm smile. "Good morning, Zelari." "Did you sleep well?" Zelari looked away. "I did," she said, her voice quiet. They shared a simple meal in the small room. Cole told stories about his work as a rescue worker. He spoke of times he helped people trapped in dangerous places. Zelari listened but said little. She was still unsure how to feel. After breakfast, Cole showed her a small device. "This is my communicator," he explained. "I use it to talk with other workers and to get updates during emergencies." Zelari studied the device. It was simple compared to her own technology, but it was useful. She wondered how such a basic tool could help save lives. Cole's eyes shone with pride. "It's not about the tool," he said. "It's about how you use it. Sometimes all you have is your own strength and heart." Zelari frowned. Her people believed only in power and perfection. The idea of strength from heart seemed strange and weak. Later, Cole took her outside. The sun was bright, and the air smelled fresh. Zelari blinked as she saw children playing and people walking dogs. The city was noisy but alive. Cole smiled. "Earth may not be perfect, but it is home. We care for each other, even if we look different or have problems." Zelari felt a pang in her chest. She looked away quickly. They walked through a park filled with tall trees and colorful flowers. Cole pointed to a young girl helping an old woman cross the street. "Even the smallest acts show our true nature," he said. Zelari watched silently. She wanted to believe him but held her feelings back. She thought about her own people. They did not often show kindness. They saw it as a weakness. That evening, Cole invited Zelari to join him for a video call with his family. She hesitated, but agreed. On the screen, a warm woman and 2 children smiled and waved. Cole spoke softly to them. Zelari felt something new. She saw how much they cared for each other. The human family laughed and told stories. Zelari felt like an outsider, but also curious. These humans were not just rough faces and strange voices. They had hearts full of love. After the call ended, Zelari said quietly, "Your family seems very important to you." Cole nodded. "They are. We look after each other. It keeps us strong." Zelari thought about her own family back home. They were proud and distant. She wondered if love could be a strength, not just a feeling. The next day, Zelari watched Cole. As he trained, he practiced lifting heavy weights and running. She saw the muscles in his arms and legs work hard. Humans were not perfect like her people, but they were strong in their own way. Cole smiled when he noticed her watching. "It's not about being perfect," he said. "It's about trying your best." Zelari felt her cold heart soften a little. One afternoon, a small emergency alarm went off in the building. A tiny fire had started in the kitchen. Cole jumped up immediately and rushed to put out the flames. Zelari followed, worried. Cole worked fast, using a fire extinguisher and helping others to safety. His calm voice gave instructions and comfort. Zelari was surprised by how brave he was. When the fire was out, Cole wiped sweat from his brow. "It's okay," he said, smiling at her. "Just a small problem." Zelari looked at him with new respect. He was far from perfect, but he was brave and kind. That night, Zelari sat alone and thought about her mission. She had come to judge Earth and humans, but now she was beginning to see them differently. She whispered to herself, "Maybe humans are not so ugly after all." Suddenly her communicator beeped. A message from the Galactic Council appeared. They wanted her report. Soon, Zelari felt pressure rise inside her. If she told the truth that humans had strength and kindness, her people might not accept it. But if she lied, she would betray what she had learned. Her heart felt heavy. She thought about Cole's gentle hands and steady voice. She remembered the warmth in his eyes when he spoke of his family. She knew her next steps would change everything for her, for Earth, and for the future. The days went by slowly for Zalari. Every morning she woke with a mix of emotions. She still remembered her old beliefs about humans, how ugly and weak they were. But now she saw things she never expected. The more she spent time with Cole, the more her feelings changed. Cole was different from any being she had ever met. He was not perfect, but he had something rare, kindness that came from deep inside. She watched him every day. How he helped others. How he smiled even when things were hard. One morning, Zalari woke early and went to the window. She looked out. Over the city below, people moved like ants, busy and full of life. She thought about how small and fragile they seemed. Yet they kept going. They faced problems and dangers, but still helped each other. Cole entered the room with a warm smile. "Good morning, Zalari," he said. Zalari nodded. "Good morning." Cole held out a small box. "I brought you something." Zalari looked at the box. Inside was a simple bracelet made of braided thread and small stones. "It is not valuable," Cole said, "but it means I want you to remember Earth, and that you are not alone here." Zalari felt a strange warmth. She hesitated, then took the bracelet. She looked at Cole and said quietly, "Thank you." The bracelet was a small thing, but it touched her heart. That day, Cole took Zalari to a place she had never seen before, a quiet garden in the middle of the city. The garden was filled with flowers of many colors. Birds sang in the trees and a small fountain bubbled softly. Zalari looked around and felt calm for the first time since she arrived. The air smelled fresh and clean. Cole sat beside her. "This is my favorite place. When life is hard, I come here to think." Zalari watched a butterfly land on a flower. It fluttered gently, moving from one blossom to another. She thought about how fragile the butterfly looked, yet it still flew with strength. Cole looked at her. "You have changed since you came here." Zalari frowned. "I do not understand." Cole smiled. "You believed humans were ugly and weak. But now, you see, we have courage, kindness, and heart." Zalari looked down. "I still do not know if I belong here." Cole took her hand gently. "You do belong. You are learning, and that is what matters." Her heart beat faster. The touch was strange, but not unpleasant. Suddenly, the calm of the garden was broken by a loud alarm. The building's emergency system had detected a fire nearby. Cole stood quickly. "We must go." Zalari followed as Cole ran toward the source of the alarm. Flames were rising from a small apartment building close by. People were shouting and running to escape. Cole pushed through the crowd, looking for those who needed help. Zalari was afraid, but stayed close. She saw a little boy crying, trapped by smoke. Without thinking, Cole lifted the boy and carried him to safety. Zalari's breath caught in her throat. She had never seen such courage in action. She reached out and helped guide an elderly woman away from danger. Together, they moved quickly through the chaos. When the fire trucks arrived, Cole talked to the firefighters and helped them find people inside. Zalari watched, amazed by his calm and bravery. After the fire was out, Cole sat on the ground, exhausted but smiling. "It is over," he said. "No one was hurt badly." Zalari sat beside him. She looked at his tired face and felt respect. "You are very brave." Cole laughed softly. "I'm not a hero. Just a man doing what he can." Zalari shook her head. "You are more than that. You are a light in the darkness." Cole looked at her with kind eyes. "Maybe you are the light I didn't know I needed." Zalari's heart fluttered. She wanted to say more, but the words would not come. That night, Zalari lay awake, thinking about the fire and Cole's courage. She thought about the kindness in his eyes and the way he touched her hand. Her hatred of humans was fading fast. She whispered to herself, "Maybe humans are beautiful, not in the way my people think, but in their strength and heart." The next morning, Zalari received a message from the Galactic Council. They wanted her final report soon. They reminded her to be careful. The Council expected a full judgment on humans and Earth. Zalari felt the weight of the decision. Should she tell the truth? Should she say humans had value and strength? Or should she follow her old beliefs and warn the council they were weak and ugly? She looked at the bracelet on her wrist and thought about Cole's words. She knew the truth was not simple. That day, Zilari invited Cole to the garden again. They sat together quietly, watching the sun set behind tall buildings. Zilari took a deep breath. "Cole," she said softly, "I want to understand more about humans." "Will you teach me?" Cole smiled warmly. "I would like that." Together they looked toward the stars, each feeling a new hope for the future. The next morning, Zilari woke feeling a strange excitement. For the first time, she looked forward to the day. She had asked Cole to teach her more about humans. She wanted to understand their lives, their feelings, and their ways. Cole arrived with a gentle smile. "Are you ready?" he asked. Zilari nodded. "Yes, I want to learn." They started their day in a busy market. People walked by, talking, laughing, and buying food and goods. The smells of fresh bread and spices filled the air. Cole showed her the different fruits and vegetables. "Humans like to eat fresh food," he said. "It helps us stay strong." Zilari touched a bright red apple and smelled its sweet scent. It was different from the fruits on her planet. She took a small bite. The taste was fresh and sweet. She smiled, surprised by the simple pleasure. As they walked, Cole pointed out people helping others. A woman helped a man carry a heavy box. A boy gave his water to a thirsty dog. Zilari saw kindness everywhere. Cole said, "Humans may look rough, but many have gentle hearts." Zilari watched quietly. She began to see the world through new eyes. Later, Cole took her to school. Children played and learned together. The teachers spoke kindly and helped the students with patience. Zilari felt a warmth in her chest. She saw children of all colors and shapes learning as friends. It was different from her world, where only the best and strongest were chosen. A small boy ran up to her. His eyes were bright and curious. "Hello," he said shyly. Zilari smiled and bent down. "Hello," she replied softly. The boy laughed and ran back to his friends. Zilari watched him play, feeling a strange happiness. That evening, Cole invited Zilari to meet some of his friends. They gathered in a small room filled with laughter and music. People shared stories and food. Zilari felt nervous but welcomed. She listened to their talks and jokes. The humans were not perfect. They made mistakes and laughed at themselves. But they cared deeply for each other. One woman told a story about helping her neighbor during a storm. Everyone clapped and cheered. Zilari felt the joy in the room and understood that humans found strength in community. After the gathering, Cole and Zilari walked under the stars. The night was calm and quiet. Zilari looked at the sky. "On my planet, we do not often share stories like this," Cole smiled. "Stories help us connect. They remind us that we are not alone." Zilari took a deep breath. She felt closer to Earth than ever before. Suddenly, her communicator beeped. A message from the Galactic Council arrived. They wanted a meeting with her soon. They wanted her to give her report on Earth. Zilari's heart beat fast. She thought about everything she had seen, the kindness, the courage, the simple joys. How could she explain this to her people? The next day, she stood before the council. Her skin shimmered softly under the bright lights. The council members waited for her words. Zilari spoke carefully. "Earth is different than I expected. Humans are not perfect, but they have great courage and kindness. They help each other in times of trouble. Their hearts are strong." Some council members frowned. "But their technology is slow. Their appearance is flawed." Zilari nodded. "Yes, they are not like us, but they have a strength that cannot be seen by the eye. It is in their spirit." The room grew silent. No one had expected such honesty. After the meeting, Zilari returned to Earth. She felt a new purpose. She wanted to learn more and to help others understand humans. Cole greeted her with a smile. "How did it go?" Zilari smiled back. "Better than I thought." I told them the truth. Cole took her hand gently. "I am proud of you." Zilari felt warmth spread through her. She realized she cared for Cole more than she had expected. That night, they sat together in the garden. Zellari looked at the stars and whispered, "Thank you for teaching me." Cole smiled. "Thank you for learning." Their hands touched and the night felt full of hope. The days grew warmer as spring began to bloom on Earth. Zellari found herself spending more time outside, learning about the world that once seemed so strange and noisy. She walked beside Cole, who guided her patiently through new experiences. Each day brought new lessons, not only about humans but about herself. One morning, Cole suggested they visit a community center in a nearby town. "You will see how people come together to help each other," he said with a smile. Zellari agreed. She wanted to see this community he often spoke about. She was curious how humans could survive and thrive with all their imperfections. At the community center, Zellari was greeted by a group of people preparing food and organizing supplies. They worked together with laughter and focus. Some carried boxes, others cleaned tables. Everyone had a role, and everyone helped one another. A woman named Mara noticed Zellari watching. "Would you like to help?" she asked kindly. Zellari nodded. She wasn't sure what she could do, but she wanted to try. Mara handed her a basket of fresh vegetables. "We make meals for those who don't have enough food. Every little bit helps." Zellari carefully sorted the vegetables, feeling a strange satisfaction in the simple work. The people around her smiled and thanked her. It was a new feeling to be part of something bigger than herself. Cole watched from nearby, proud to see Zellari opening her heart. Later they sat outside on a bench. Cole handed her a small cup of tea. "This is chamomile," he explained. "It helps you relax." Zellari took a sip and felt warmth spread inside. She smiled at Cole. "You show me kindness everywhere I go." Cole looked into her eyes. "Because you have taught me to see the world differently too." Zellari felt a deep connection growing between them. She no longer thought of humans as ugly or weak. They were strong in their own way, strong in heart and spirit. One evening, while they were walking home, a sudden storm arrived. The sky darkened quickly and strong winds whipped the trees. People hurried to find shelter. Zellari felt afraid. She was not used to Earth's wild weather. Cole took her hand firmly. "Don't worry, I will keep you safe." He led her to a small shelter nearby. Inside, a few other people waited, talking quietly and sharing blankets. Zellari listened as they spoke about their lives, the struggles, the hopes, and the small joys that kept them going. She felt moved by their stories. These humans had faced so many challenges but still smiled and helped one another. After the storm passed, Cole and Zellari stepped outside. The air smelled fresh and the stars began to shine. Cole turned to her. "You are different now, Zellari." "I see it in your eyes." Zellari nodded slowly. "I have learned that beauty is not just on the surface. It is in the courage to face life, in the kindness we give, and in the love we share." Cole smiled softly. "You are the most beautiful person I know." Her heart fluttered at his words. For the first time, she allowed herself to believe in the possibility of something more. Days later, Zellari received a message from the Galactic Council. They demanded a final decision. Would Earth be allowed to join the Galactic Trade Alliance? The Council expected her to say no. They still believed humans were ugly and weak. Zellari knew what she must do. She called a meeting with the Council. Standing tall, she spoke with clear and steady voice. "Earth is ready to join," she said. "Humans are not perfect, but their strength lies in their hearts and their willingness to help each other. They have courage, kindness, and hope. These qualities make them worthy." The council members were shocked. Some argued, but Zellari stood firm. Her words changed the minds of many. The Galactic Trade Alliance voted to welcome Earth as a new member. Back on Earth, Cole and Zellari celebrated quietly in the garden. They held hands and looked at the stars. Zellari whispered, "Thank you for showing me the true meaning of strength and beauty." Cole smiled. "Thank you for opening your heart." They sat together, knowing that a new chapter had begun not only for Earth, but for them both. The news of Earth joining the Galactic Trade Alliance spread quickly. Zellari's report had changed everything. Many species who once looked down on humans now saw them in a new light. Earth was no longer a weak or ugly planet. It was a place of courage, kindness, and strength, but not everyone was happy. Back on her homeworld, Zalari faced questions and doubts. Some of her people called her a traitor. They said she had been tricked by humans. They wanted her to explain how she could praise a race they believed was beneath them. Zalari stood strong. She knew the truth. Humans were different, yes, but that difference was their power. One day, she received a message from the Galactic Council. They asked her to return for another meeting. This time, it was not just about Earth, it was about her future. Zalari wondered what awaited her. Would she be punished or praised? She did not know. Cole stayed by her side. Whatever happens, I am with you, he said softly. Zalari smiled. His support gave her courage. At the council meeting, Zalari was surprised to hear a new proposal. The council wanted to honor her bravery and honesty. They wanted to give her a special role, ambassador of unity, someone who could help different worlds understand each other better. The offer was unexpected, but Zalari accepted. She felt proud to represent both her people and Earth. As ambassador of unity, Zalari traveled to many worlds. She met strange and wonderful beings. She shared stories of humans' courage and kindness. She spoke of the power found in hearts, not appearances. Her message was clear. True strength comes from caring for others and standing together. Back on Earth, Cole worked in his community, helping people recover from disasters. He told his friends about Zalari's new role and how she believed in humanity. One evening, Zalari returned to Earth. She and Cole met in the quiet garden where they had shared many moments. Zalari looked at him with deep affection. I have learned so much, she said. But the greatest lesson is that love and respect can change even the hardest hearts. Cole took her hands. And you have changed my world, Zalari. They smiled, knowing their bond was more than friendship. It was a connection that crossed stars and species. As night fell, they sat together, looking at the sky full of stars. The future was bright, full of hope and new beginnings. Zalari whispered, I once hated what I did not understand. Now, I love what I have come to know. Cole nodded. Together we will face whatever comes next. And so, the alien who once hated ugly humans found beauty in a man's heart. A beauty stronger than any star. The days passed slowly. But every moment felt important to Zalari. She had changed more than she could ever have imagined. The hatred she once held for humans had vanished, replaced by respect, understanding, and something deeper, a feeling she was only beginning to understand. Her new role as ambassador of unity kept her busy. She traveled between worlds, speaking at councils, visiting cities, and sharing stories about Earth and its people. Her words inspired many. She told others how humans could be strong in heart and kind in spirit, even if they did not look like the perfect beings the galaxy often admired. But no matter how far she traveled, her thoughts always returned to one person, Cole. Back on Earth, Cole continued his simple life, helping his community. He still remembered the strange, silver-skinned alien who had arrived with cold eyes but left with a warm heart. He smiled whenever he thought of her. One quiet evening, Cole stood in the garden where he and Zalari had shared so many moments. The stars shone brightly above, and the air was calm. Suddenly he saw a figure approaching. It was Zalari. She wore a simple dress that flowed gently in the breeze. Her eyes held a light that was new, soft, and full of hope. Cole smiled and took her hands in his. I've missed you, he said simply. Zalari looked into his eyes and nodded. And I you. They sat together under the stars, feeling the quiet peace of the night. Zalari spoke softly. When I first saw humans, I only saw what was different. I thought you were ugly, weak, and unworthy. But you showed me something more important, the strength to care, to love, and to protect. Cole squeezed her hand gently. That is what makes us human. Zalari took a deep breath. I want to stay here with you, to learn and to grow. Cole's eyes shone with happiness. I want that too. Days later, Zalari and Cole stood before a gathering of people from many worlds. They had come to hear the story of a changed ambassador and a brave human. Zalari spoke with confidence. I once believed in only one kind of beauty, one kind of strength. But I have learned that true beauty lives in the heart. True strength is in kindness, courage, and love. The crowd listened, moved by her words. Cole stepped forward. We all have something to offer. No matter where we come from or how we look, we can build a better future together. Together they stood as a symbol of hope, a sign that differences could be bridges, not walls. Zellery and Cole's story became a legend. It inspired others to look beyond appearances and to find the good inside every being. At night, when the stars shone bright, Zellery would often think back to the day she first met Cole. She smiled at how much she had changed. The alien who hated ugly humans had found love and a new home, and in that love she found the greatest beauty of all.